first thing to keep in mind when using Windows 7 and JAWS is that there are four main components to the main screen of Windows. Those components are the desktop, the start menu, the taskbar, and the system tray. In order to continue, I'm going to need to turn my JAWS on, which is performed with an Alt-Control-J.
JAWS for Windows is ready. Start button.
I know this is a little bit fast for most of you, but I'm kind of hoping that you'll develop sort of a tolerance for the speed at which I have my JAWS and maybe, develop a little bit of learning and kind of translate. So what I'm going to do is, as you may have heard, the highlighted portion of the screen in focus is the Start menu. The Start menu key is a key that is located between the Alt and the Control on the keyboard on the left-hand side. There is also sometimes on some keyboards a second Start menu key on the right side of the space bar and to the right of that Alt, but this is not always the case. Okay, this is the search box that pops up when you hit the Start menu key. As you may have noticed, it says Search Box Edit. With the search box, you can locate a variety of items by typing in either a name of a program, a document, or a few other things. But that's really not what we're going to cover right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the Tab key, and that gets me to the right side of my Start menu. You may have heard it say Snow Amy L. That is a list of items beginning with my name. This is where I find things like the control panel, listing devices and printers, help, things like that. So I'm going to hit Tab again.
Log off split button L.
This is a log off split button. If I wish to expand it, I would use a right arrow. And as you can see or hear, there's a pop-up menu that says that I may choose from shutdown, sleep, restart, or lock. Well, I'm not really interested in any of that, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to collapse that menu with the left arrow.
Log off split button L.
And now I'm on the log off split button again. If I were to hit L, it would log me off. I'm not going to do that though. I'm going to hit my tab again.
Microsoft Word 2010 submenu 1 of 12.
This will take me to a list of a variety of programs that are either frequently used or are pinned to my Start menu. We'll cover pinning in just a few minutes. I can use my arrow keys, my down and up arrows, to select between the items. So I've got my Microsoft Word first.
Microsoft Excel 2010 submit sticky notes. Smart Notebook 10 submenu 4 of 12.
Okay, these are just a variety. This is a list of items, and as you can hear, there are 12 different items. I'm not going to go through all of them today with you. But if I hit Tab again,
All Programs submenu A.
I can go to my All Programs menu, and that is how you, another way besides the search field, that you can access programs that are not as frequently accessed by you or not pinned to your Start menu. If I were to hit Tab again, I would be back in my search box. So what I'm going to do is, because I don't really need anything in my Start menu right now, I'm going to get out of it. I can do that by either doing a Start menu again,
Leaving menu, Start button,
or by hitting an Escape. I hit the Start button to get out. Now that we know where our Windows key is, there's some rather important things that we can do with the Windows key. One of them is to get to our desktop. The first way to do this is to do a Windows D.
Windows, desktop, folder view list view, not selected, Internet Explorer 10 of 14.
Okay, as you can hear, I have 14 items on my desktop. And right now, the focus of my JAWS cursor is on Internet Explorer. I can get around my desktop by using up and down arrows, yes, but...
Magic. MacLib DLS. Reflector. Eclipse Writer Drop by Double Can Flex. iTunes. Google Chrome.
Or I can do it by hitting the letter that an icon begins with. So let me try hitting I for Internet Explorer.
Internet Explorer.
Now if I hit it again,
iTunes.
It'll take me to my iTunes. If you can see it all, there is a very light box surrounding the item on the screen that has focus.
Internet Explorer.
And no matter how many times I hit
iTunes.
I will go between those items. If there were a third item that started with an I, I would hear that as well. I'm going to hit L, and that should take me to my libraries.
Libraries.
Now if I hit L again, it doesn't do anything because libraries is the only item on my desktop that begins with the letter L. Another way to get to the desktop is a Windows M, and that stands for Minimize All Applications.
Windows M. Windows M. Windows M.
No matter how many times I hit Windows M, though, I will end up back on the desktop. Windows D is what's called a toggle. What it would do is if I were in a program, say Internet Explorer, and I hit Windows D and took me to my desktop, if I hit Windows D again, it would take me right back to Internet Explorer. Okay, now I think we're pretty much done with the desktop. The next area that I want to explore is called the Taskbar. Windows key and the letter T
Taskbar Windows Explorer button
takes you to the taskbar. You heard it say Windows Explorer because that is the first item on my taskbar. If I hit a right arrow,
Microsoft Outlook 2010 button.
This is my Microsoft Outlook.
Internet Explorer button.
Internet Explorer.
Recording button menu.
And that is the program I'm using to capture the screen with. But we're not going to worry too much about that right now. But if I hit a right arrow again,
Windows Explorer button.
It'll take me back in a circle and bring me right back to Windows Explorer. What's important to know about the taskbar is Windows T will get you there. But if you happen to know what programs are pinned or are available on your taskbar, you can use the Windows key and that number to bring that item up. For example, I'm going to do a Windows key and the number 1, and that will bring up my Windows Explorer.
Windows 1, libraries, items, view, multi-select list box, not selected documents.
And I could go from there.
Windows 1, start
Windows 1, by the way, again, minimized that for me. It didn't close it, it just minimized it. Windows 2 on my PC would get me to my email, and Windows 3 would get me to my internet. Now let me just hit a Windows 3 for a minute.
Windows 3, Windows Internet Explorer, Wisconsin Center for the Blind.
Okay, I just made JAWS be quiet with a control key. As you can see, where we are in WCBVI's main website. And suppose I wanted to open a new tab. I'm going to do that really quick with a Control T.
Control T, new tab page, address and search unit, edit, Alt plus D.
Now I'm just going to go to Google. Okay, Google's a visited page. Oh look, it's a Google something of the day. Okay, alright. So suppose I want to go back to the previous tab that I was in. There's a couple of different ways I can do that. I can hold in my Windows key. I'm holding it in, and I'm tapping my 3.
Windows 3, task switcher, list box, Wisconsin Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired, Windows Internet Explorer,
if that was what I wanted to go to, I could release my Windows key. But if I want to hear the next one, I've still had my Windows key held down.
Windows 3, Google-Windows Internet Explorer.
Okay.
Windows 3, Wisconsin Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
I've heard it say Wisconsin Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired. I'm going to lift my Windows key finger. And then that's where I go. That is how you would get in between multiple tabs using Internet Explorer. That is one way. There are others, but I wanted to show you that is called a Jumplist because there is more than one option in Windows Internet Explorer, and that's how you would do that, is to get into that Jumplist. I'm going to go minimize all my applications and go to the desktop now because I want to talk to you about the fourth and last area that I want you to be familiar with.
Windows, desktop, folder view, list view.
Okay. And the reason JAWS keeps being interrupted is because I keep hitting the control key because I don't want it to talk over me. The next thing is called the system tray. The system tray is located in the lower right-hand portion of the screen. On the lower right-hand portion of the screen are a variety of options. The system tray, by the way, for those of you who are not aware of what it does, is those are the programs that are running what's called in the background. of Windows. For example, your antivirus might run there. Your internet connection is probably going to be running there. I have my JAWS running there. And there's a couple of ways to get there. With JAWS, it's an insert F11 to interact with it. But if you don't have JAWS, if you're just using a regular old screen magnifier and you're sick of getting lost on the screen, if you do a Windows key and then the letter B,
Windows System Tray Smart Recorder button.
Letter B is in boy, it will take you down there. So I'm going to use my arrow keys.
JAWS for Windows button.
There's my JAWS for Windows.
Safely remove hardware in the Jet Media button. The color scheme was in available profile space. Smart board button. Flicks button. Intel left parent R. Smart response button.
As you can see, there's a lot of stuff running in my background.
Computer status dash protect. Solve PC issues colon 1.5.k12.y. Speakers colon 50% button.
By the way, this is my speaker button. So that is the system tray. So in conclusion, you have 4 areas of your Windows screen that you are going to want to navigate to. The desktop, which you can get to by hitting a Windows M or a Windows D. The Start menu, which you would hit simply by pressing your Windows button. The Taskbar, which you may enter by hitting Windows T for Taskbar, and which you might also navigate to find the first item of the taskbar with a Windows 1, second item with a Windows 2, and so on, and the last item with a Windows B as in boy to the system tray, which contains the items that run in the background of your Windows. I hope this has been helpful for you. If so, please leave a comment. If you want further information, you may also leave a comment and contact me to ask any questions you might have.